You've been told evolution is a master designer, a brilliant architect. Wrong. Evolution is a blind, sleep-deprived intern with a glue gun and way too much caffeine. For every eagle, it builds a monster. For every dolphin, it builds a biological dumpster fire. These aren't success stories. These are evolutions, mistakes, the rough drafts, the experiments that were shoved in a drawer. Tonight, we're opening that drawer. We're looking at nature's freaks, its body snatchers, and its dead ends. These are the chilling stories of when evolution went horribly awry. So, you think you're in charge of your own body? That you make your own decisions? That's cute. Meet the crab. Now, meet Sacculina, tiny barnacle that decided life as a barnacle was, frankly, boring. It wanted to be a puppet master. Its first act, to permanently hijack a crab's body and turn it into a mindless, exiting nanny for its alien babies. Here's the scientific breakdown of this nightmare. A female Sacculina larva finds a crab, injects its entire body, just a tiny clump of cells, into the crab's bloodstream. It's less an infection, more a biological possession. This cell clump travels to the crab's gut, where it grows a root system called the intrana. It infiltrates everything: the nervous system, the digestive tract, the muscles. Then, it does the unthinkable. It creates a bulging sac, the externa, right where the crab's own egg sac would go. And to make sure the crab doesn't get any bright ideas about, having its own kids, the parasite chemically castrates it. It destroys the crab's reproductive organs. But here is the truly horrifying part. The Sacculina doesn't just steal the crab's nutrients and its future, it steals its mind. It floods the crab's body with hormones, convincing the crab, whether it's male or female, that the pulsating parasite sac is its own batch of precious eggs. The crab enters a zombie-like state, obsessively protecting the parasite. It cleans it. It fans it with water. When the Sacculina is ready to release its thousands of larvae, the crab climbs onto a high rock, just as it would to release its own young, and waves its claws to create a perfect dispersal current. This isn't symbiosis. This is a hostile takeover. It's like someone breaking into your house, living in your attic, tapping your bank account, and then brainwashing you into raising their kids, and you love them for it. The crab becomes a living, walking, zombie incubator. The Sacculina proves that sometimes, evolution's solution isn't to build a better creature. It's to just steal one that's already built. But as horrifying as it is to lose your body and mind, what happens when evolution's mistake isn't a parasite, but the victim itself? What happens when a creature is so specialized, so hyper-focused, that it evolves itself into a corner it can never escape? Now, let's talk about the koala. I hate this thing. This isn't an animal. This is an evolutionary prank. It's a creature so profoundly, fundamentally broken, so specialized into oblivion, that it literally might be too stupid to survive. You think I'm being mean? Let's look at the evidence. First, the brain. It's one of the smallest brain-to-body ratios of any mammal. But worse, it's smooth, lissencephalic, no folds, no wrinkles. Folds are where the thinking happens, and the koala's brain is as smooth as a polished stone. It has zero capacity for problems. You can pick a eucalyptus leaf, its only food source, off a branch, put it on a plate, and the koala will starve to death, completely unable to recognize it as food. Why? Because its entire operating system is dedicated to one terrible task: digesting poison. Eucalyptus leaves are toxic. They are fibrous. They have almost zero nutritional value. To survive this idiotic diet, the koala has to sleep 20 to 22 hours a day. Not because it's relaxed, because it's in a constant, low-grade food coma, diverting every last joule of energy to its hyper-specialized gut bacteria just to not die from its last meal. This isn't specialization. This is a biological trap. The koala has painted itself into an evolutionary corner from which there is no escape. It can't adapt. It can't learn. If its specific, preferred type of eucalyptus tree vanishes, it just sits there and dies. It's the evolutionary equivalent of a person who decides to only eat silica gel packets. To survive, they must spend all day in a hospital bed, hooked up to a dialysis machine, just to process the toxins. Also, they can wake up for an hour to eat more silica gel. It's a walking, breathing, catastrophic failure. An organism that evolution has trapped in a prison of its own making. The koala is a tragedy of overspecialization. But what about when evolution's mistake isn't about brains or diet, but about basic, fundamental anatomy? What happens when, to solve the problem of finding a date, evolution resorts to literal, permanent, parasitic body horror? The deep sea, a place of crushing pressure, eternal night, and isolation so profound it would shatter your mind. Now, imagine you're an anglerfish down here. You're ugly, you're alone, and finding a mate is like winning the galactic lottery. Evolution's solution. It's not a romance. It's a horror show. Meet the male anglerfish. He's smaller, weaker, and pretty much useless on his own. He doesn't even have a glowing lure. His only purpose in life is to find a female, and when he does, he doesn't just mate with her. Oh no, that's far too civilized. He becomes her. Here's the grim scientific evidence. Once a male finds a female, he bites onto her belly or side. Then, his body starts to degenerate. His jaws fuse to her skin. Their bloodstreams literally connect. His eyes atrophy, becoming useless lumps. His fins shrink away. His internal organs, his brain, his digestive system, everything he once needed to survive independently, are reabsorbed by the female's body. He becomes a permanent, parasitic attachment, drawing all his nutrients directly from her blood. He is, quite literally, absorbed into her. All that remains is a small, shriveled sack of testes, ready to fertilize her eggs on demand. Sometimes, a single female will have multiple males fused to her, dangling like grotesque charms. This isn't just finding a partner. This is biological assimilation. It's like going on a first date, falling in love, and then your date slowly melting into your body, becoming a permanent, sentient tumor whose only function is to provide sperm. And you're just carrying them around for the rest of your life, feeding them from your own bloodstream. It's efficient, sure, but at what cost to your sense of self, and frankly, your dignity? It's evolution's answer to difficult dating conditions. Instead of making finding a mate easier, it just decided to make the male disposably living, swimming sperm delivery system that permanently plugs into the female. The parasitic male anglerfish is a testament to how utterly brutal and pragmatic evolution can be when faced with a challenge. It sacrifices individuality, autonomy, and a whole lot of self-respect for the sake of reproduction. But for all these bizarre and horrifying adaptations, they are still, in their own twisted way, about survival. What happens when evolution takes a wrong turn? Not for survival, but for a bizarre, self-destructive aesthetic. What happens when an animal's entire existence becomes a monument to a very unusual kind of beauty? Finally, let's look at sexual selection evolution's vanity project. This is where nature stops caring about survival and starts caring about style. And no creature is more stylishly, suicidally absurd than the male peacock spider. He is tiny. He has no effective venom. To every bird, lizard, and larger spider, he is a walking bite-sized appetizer, and evolution's solution to this: to paint him like a neon sign and force him to dance for his life. Here's the scientific reality. To mate, the male Marata spider must perform one of the most complex high-stakes routines in the animal kingdom. He's showing off those colors, which aren't pigments, by the way, but complex, light-bending nanostructures. He is, quite literally, a living piece of advanced optical technology. He waves his legs in semaphore. He vibrates his abdomen. He is putting on a Broadway quality show, and the audience is a single, unimpressed, and very hungry female. Now, the horrifying part. The female is bigger, stronger, and she is judging him with lethal scrutiny. If his dance is wrong, if he misses a beat, if his colors are just a little dull, she will not just reject him. she will eat him instantly. This isn't a mating ritual. It's an audition where the penalty for a bad performance is being consumed by the casting director. Think about the evolutionary pressure here. Nature has simultaneously demanded two completely opposite things from this one animal. One, be as invisible as possible to avoid being eaten by birds. To be the most ridiculously, vibrantly, conspicuously colored thing in the forest, to attract a mate, who also wants to eat you. This is evolution at its most sadistic. It's like forcing a mime to perform in a war zone wearing a strobe light, just for the chance to not die alone. He is a masterpiece of self-destructive beauty. From parasitic puppet masters to brain-dead specialists, from fused-on husbands to these dazzling disposable dancers, it's clear evolution isn't a clean, straight line to perfection. It's a chaotic, messy, and frankly terrifying process of trial and error. So what, then, is the grand takeaway from all these glitches in the system? What's the final lesson in all this biological madness? So, what's the chilling story? What's the grand takeaway from this cabinet of evolutionary horrors? It's this: there is no grand design. We want evolution to be an elegant, brilliant artist. But it's not. It's a blind, frantic tinkerer who just throws things at the wall until something, anything, sticks. Awry implies there was a right way to begin with. There wasn't. If the solution is to hijack a crab's brain, or fuse two bodies into one, or create a creature too stupid to recognize its own food, evolution doesn't care. It has no pride. It has no blueprint. It just has results. The most chilling story of all isn't that evolution makes monsters. It's that evolution is a blind, chaotic, morally indifferent force, and it is the only force in charge. What evolutionary nightmare did we miss? Which biological abomination do you think is nature's biggest mistake? Let us know in the comments. We dig up nature's buried secrets and horrifying rough drafts every single week. If that's your kind of science, hit subscribe and ring that bell to join the research team. And if you want to support us directly and help fund these deep dives into the abyss, the link to our Patreon is, as always, right down below.